4 Star Wars Revelations and LOL Moments from Last Jedi cast on Kimmel. Writer-director Rian Johnson revealed the first word of the film, while Mark Hamill presented his spot-on impression of Harrison Ford. "It's unusual for me to interview the director and stars of a movie that I haven't seen and we can't actually talk about," Jimmy Kimmel said Friday on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Nevertheless, they powered through, and it resulted in him from having a lot of fun with them, and pulling out some interesting tidbits about Star Wars, The Last Jedi, as well as The Force Awakens, and even some behind-the-scenes moments dating all the way back to when it all began with 1977's Star Wars, A New Hope. Kimmel was joined by Last Jedi director Rian Johnson and stars Mark Hamill, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Andy Serkis, Gwendoline Christie, Laura Dern and Kelly Marie Tran. Most of the time, the cast was looking at, or getting stared down by Johnson as Kimmel got right to the point, asking questions he knew they couldn't answer. So we didn't learn anything more about Snoke, or who Rey's parents are, but he still did manage to get a few fun details out of them. Luke and number 039:S mystery, Leia and number 039:S legacy and Wokes, everything we learned about and number 039: Star Wars, The Last Jedi and number 039, view story. The big new thing for The Last Jedi or the Porgs. This adorable new race of aliens blew up the internet when they first screamed their way into our hearts in a trailer, and people have been obsessed with them ever since. With no clue what role they play in the film, their toys are selling like BB-8 did for The Force Awakens. A better comparison, though, might be the Wokes. They were controversial when first revealed for Return of the Jedi because many considered them too cute, ruining the cool factor of the franchise. The Porg seem to have some people worried, and even the cast isn't all keen on them. John Boyega was willing to admit he wasn't a fan, saying, "I'm not into it," while giving one on Kimmel's desk the side eye. He went on to describe them as all over the place, making us wonder if they'll maybe be more like tribbles from Star Trek, more of a nuisance in the way than an ally. We'll all find out soon. And besides, if the franchise could survive Jar Jar Binks, they've got nothing to worry about here. And number 039: Star Wars, The Last Jedi and number 039, trailer draws priceless reactions from Carrie Fisher and number 039:S Dog Gary and Kate Hudson view story. Laura Dern may be new to Star Wars, but she's not a newcomer when it comes to her love of the films. She had her own action figures of C-3PO and R2-D2 when she was a girl, and recalls seeing the first film in theaters. She even fangirled out while talking about it to Kimmel. "When I was a little girl, was the first time I ever waited in line to see a movie, being Star Wars, and it just changed everything," she said. She couldn't even get through it without taking a moment to point at Mark Hamill and say, "By the way, that's Luke Skywalker." "Dream of a lifetime," she said of working on the new film. One day on set, Rian said, "Hey Laura, a fan of yours wants to say hi." And I remember turning around, and I was like, Chewbacca. And I started crying as he hugged me, but it was profound. J.J. Abrams and Stephen King tease Secret and number 039: Castle Rock and number 039, Project Video view story. When Luke Skywalker pulled the hood back at the end of The Force Awakens, audiences gasped and cheered to see him. But if director J.J. Abrams had had his way, they might have seen something very different. In the script it said, he turns, removes his hood, white flowing hair and a white beard. "It is Luke Skywalker," Mark Hamill recalled. I said, "Well, wait a minute. Chronologically, if this follows Return of the Jedi, I'm only in my early 50s. What's with this Methuselah look that you have planned for me?" Instead, he suggested he grow his beard out, as that's where he carries some white hair, and the rest of movie history. We're sure Rey would have looked far more startled had he turned and been nothing but Gandalf-like flowing hair everywhere. Carrie Fisher and number 039:S daughter Billy Lourdes honors mom at Star Wars Celebration view story, taking us even further back, Mark Hamill recalled the moment he learned the first major spoiler in the Star Wars franchise. According to Luke Skywalker himself, the Darth Vader reveal from The Empire Strikes Back was different in the original script. At that moment in the screenplay, it's just as you see it, but the revelation is when Vader says, "You don't know the truth, Obi-Wan killed your father," Hamill said. "I thought, what an amazing twist, Sir Alec Guinness is the ultimate bad guy." He was called in for the actual script revealing Vader as his father shortly before filming, and then tasked with holding that secret. According to Hamill, even Harrison Ford didn't know, turning to him at their initial screening and saying, "Hey kid, you didn't f***ing tell me that." View photos. Getty. Billy Lord gets matching tribute tattoo in honor of mom Carrie Fisher. Mark Hamill does a great Harrison Ford. Mark Hamill nailed his impression of his former co-star during the interview, but apparently Harrison Ford himself isn't such a fan. "I got a phone call from him one time," Hamill said, and then in Ford's voice, "Hey, I don't sound anything like that." Rian Johnson reveals first word of Star Wars. The biggest reveal of the interview, Rian Johnson told us the first word of Star Wars, The Last Jedi. And that word is, we're really excited about that. Kylo Ren had terrible parents. Han Solo and Princess Leia must have been terrible parents, Jimmy Kimmel said while talking to Adam Driver. The Menendez brothers had better parents. Daisy Ridley describes Jedi vomit during filming of the final scene of The Force Awakens. Daisy Ridley was violently ill. When Jimmy Kimmel quipped that it was Jedi vomit, she shot back, "Yeah, it was loud and forceful." Will Bralin of Tarth ever get with Jaime Lannister? That's not Star Wars, you say? You're right, but Jimmy Kimmel asked Gwendoline Christie anyway. "I'm not sure, they seem pretty lukewarm to me," she responded. Rian Johnson has his own action figure. The director was speechless and looked genuinely touched as Jimmy Kimmel presented him with a custom-made, one-of-a-kind action figure of the writer-director dressed in Jedi garb surrounded by porgs. It was a pretty good likeness. Star Wars is a family film, or is it? Mark Hamill said that Star Wars is a family film, but Kimmel corrected him that they're actually for middle-aged nerds. He apparently set out to prove that by making Star Wars the focus of his latest edition of unnecessary censorship. Star Wars, The Last Jedi hits theaters December 15, 2017. Carrie Fisher life and career in pictures.